And we're back
We're back.
at the Cozy Show, the coziest place on earth, with
Uh-huh.
my co-host.
Chris Mariscal.
God damn it, there is no substance abuse on this on this episode.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, because a lot of people
Yeah.
enjoyed that whole, mental breakdown, kind of dealing with yourself, not knowing where you are.
Yep.
How do you feel about the reaction of the crowd?
The whole time, that's what I keep telling everybody, like the whole time we were recording that podcast, I just felt like shit. Like I felt so like guilty about what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like everybody was annoyed of me.
Mm-hmm.
I was just so deep in my head, like insecure of everything. I remember thinking at one point too, like, why do we even do this podcast? Like, as bad as that sounds, I was like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm so like out of my fucking comfort zone right now. But yeah, I felt terrible. I thought it was the worst podcast in the world at the time. I remember thinking, like, when I edit this, I'm going to be so pissed and just, like, embarrassed that this is going to the world. But when I was editing it, I was laughing my ass off, like, a lot of the time. I was like, this is pretty fucking funny. Like, there's definitely some cuts I had to make, you know. There's a lot of, like, just long, prolonged laughter, like, side conversations going on because we forgot we're even on a podcast, or I did at least. But it seems like people liked it a lot, so that's good. I'm glad you guys could laugh at my pain.
I know. I feel like a lot of people enjoyed it, and especially like Chris, as the highlight. You know,
Yeah.
just doing high shit. I guess that's what it is. It's just like it's just you being high. You know.
Yeah.
And I remember being like kind of high as well, but obviously not to that extent, and just being like, I don't know, like it just felt like so much like nothing. You know, I just keep being like something to like nothing. You know.
Yeah, I think one thing too is like we didn't plan any topics. Usually I write down or like we write topics and talk about them before. We planned nothing. So the only topic was like we're going to smoke, and that was it. That was like that probably made it a little harder cuz there was no like guide. It was just like, okay, I'm high as shit, now what, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of just jumping from random thing to random thing, but I should have taken like one hit probably and I still would have been like super high, but I knew that, like, going on the pod, I was like, I want to get really I'm going to do it. Like, I don't want to just simp and, like, barely get high. I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, you know? So I sent that hoe, and I was pretty high, and it wasn't enjoyable at all, actually. Like, honestly, I was laughing a lot, but it wasn't really because I was, like, happy. Like, it was just, that was the reaction. That's, like, the only reaction I could do was just laugh. But yeah, I was pretty miserable. Like, I remember telling myself while I was high, I thought, I need to remember, like, the way this feels because I don't want to smoke again. Like, I don't want to fucking do this again. I don't want to be in this situation. This is terrible. And I definitely don't want to smoke for a while. It's so dumb because it's like, I've had good highs, probably way more good highs than bad highs, but that was definitely, like, one of the worst. But now that I'm sober, I'm like, I'll probably do it again at some point, you know?
Yeah.
But I'll just be careful to only smoke a little bit, you know, but fuck, glad people could enjoy it. I don't know. There's a lot of funny moments, good clips coming out of that one, you know.
How are you feeling? Like, how was the vibe? No, you're good. How would you describe the rest of the trip? Like, and more specifically of the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me talk about the rest of the day after the pod. Oh, real quick, I want to talk about this too. Like, when I think after even just the first hit of that joint, I was already like hella high. And then I took two more hits.
Yeah,
like,
when I was
Jesus.
watching it, Chris was coughing so much off the
hard.
first one.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, he kept going, you know, like, holy shit. Because when I was giving it to you, like, I don't even remember you coughing, I don't think, like, the first or second time. It was the third one, and it was just forever. And I was like, you know?
Yeah, I didn't want to half-ass it. Like, I wanted to really fucking go for it. And I did. But, yeah, so, like, I think it's funny because you can't even tell in the video, but, like, this is how I was feeling, right? So it's like I had that major cough attack. I took two more hits. I got ran through the mud. Like, once I started feeling high, I was like, holy shit, I'm high. I realized, like, this is really hard to talk right now. It's hard to remember, like, what story I'm trying to tell. That happens so much. Like, that whole pod. Fucking throat. I just kept thinking, like, I don't even remember what I'm talking about. Like, as I was telling a story, I couldn't even remember what I was talking about. Like, I was just like, I don't even know what details to say. It was so hard to tell any type of story. But, yeah, I realized it was really hard to talk. I was like, fuck, I'm so high. I can't even focus. Holy shit. And I think it's because I was trying to fight it that I started to like freak out in that moment. Because for a cool like 5 to 10 minutes, while I was like going up, like getting higher and higher, I was genuinely scared. Like I was really scared. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't. It's like it's a pod. It was the pod. I didn't want to fucking ruin the pod, you know. But I was really scared for like a little while there, and I remember thinking like all care for the podcast just went out the window. Like I was just like, bro, I'm so scared right now. Like I think I'm gonna have to tell everybody like I gotta get up and go to the bathroom because I'm freaking out, you know. And I was this close to like just being like, guys, I can't fucking do this. Hold on, just keep talking. I'm gonna dip for a second, you know. But I don't know what happened. I think I just got distracted. Like I was just so high that I just ended up like laughing.
You probably forgot
or something.
about it.
Exactly.
Like, all right, well.
I just forgot, and I think I just realized like I really just have to like let this take me. Like I have no control anymore. I just have to like ride this out. But I'm gonna get some water because my throat keeps fucking up. But you talk. Or I don't know if you want to talk.
I feel like both responses would have been like good, you know, because one's like you just communicate with the people like, okay, hey, I can't do this, and like go take a break. That's like very self-aware. But then there's like another route of just accepting it and just being like, well, that's that, you know, or just whatever and just going with it, you know. So I feel like both ways kind of navigated. Maybe the first one's less risky because then it's like, but then you might be in your head more because you're like,
I think
now
that's
you
what
acknowledged
happened.
it. Now you acknowledged it.
Wait, the first one was I don't tell anybody.
No,
right?
no. I'm saying you tell someone.
Oh.
Like, so what if you tell, like, when you say it and communicate, you're like, and everyone's kind of like it depends on the people's reaction, you know? Because imagine they're all tripping out. Now you're tripping out even more, you know?
And that's the thing, too, is like, Isaura never smokes. She didn't even end up getting high. But, like, at the time, I thought she was going to get high, you know? So I'm like, I don't want to freak her out like by saying that. And, yeah, I was really scared I just didn't want to bring the vibe down. That's why I didn't want to do it. But as a result, I was so in my head the whole time. And I was just really scared of you guys being, like, concerned about me. It was the main thing. I was like, I just don't want them to be concerned. It's going to throw off the energy, you know? But, yeah, so. But after that, it was okay. I was just so in my head, like, overthinking about, like, every single little thing. Like, the shocking thing to me was, like, I remember every thought that would, like, come into my head at one point, I would critique the thought. I think I already told you this, but, like, any thought that I would think about anything, I would think, why did I think that thought? Is it good or bad? What should I do to, like, correct it? It was insane. Like, I was so tired of it. That's so exhausting. I literally felt like I was on, like, a different drug, dude. It was just, like, my mind just would not stop, dude. It was crazy. But I always, I don't know if this is, like, dramatic or not, because I don't smoke weed, so I don't know how crucial this actually is. But I feel like I noticed a difference between, like, indica and sativa, and that was a sativa. And the sativa is supposed to, like, make you more active and, like, I guess give you more energy and shit. And I've never liked that because every time I've done it, I felt, like, way more anxious and, like, hella more, like, intrusive thoughts and stuff. When I do indica, I'm, like, so relaxed and happy and just, like, everything feels so good. So I remember thinking before we smoked, like, I don't know how that's going to be. But I was like, yeah, fuck it, you know? And it ended up being, like, so bad. But I don't know. But anyway, so the rest of the day, let's see what we got here.
Yeah, since you said that was kind of like a lot, were you pretty drained after?
Super drained. I think so. Yeah, after the pod, we were going to go on a hike, but we ended up going to the beach instead because it got kind of, like, late.
That's why we were in that clothing. We never described.
We never even said why.
They was supposed to be, like, beach themed, even though we were going to a hike after it, but it was, like, good concept, you know?
Yeah.
And then we didn't end up even. Oh, actually, we went to the beach, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. I think we were just, since we're in San Diego anyways, was like, fuck it, let's be, like, half naked, you know? But yeah, we ended up going to the beach, which was fucking beautiful, dude. We went to Coronado. I guess it's, like, a really, like, bougie place. Super nice beach. Really nice sunset. I was so high, though, like, still after the pod. I remember being really frustrated because I was trying to, like, get my stuff together to go to the beach. My phone was, like, dying because it filmed the podcast. I had no storage to, like, do anything on my phone. So I was trying to airdrop the video to my MacBook and it just wasn't working. I couldn't find my shoes. I was missing one Croc. I couldn't find my Croc. I couldn't find my wallet. And, like, I couldn't find, like, my swim trunks. I wanted to wear, like, trunks with pockets. So I ended up wearing, like, my running shorts, which are, like, fucking so short and like no pockets. So I'm carrying like all my belongings and I'm high. So I'm like, bro, I'm going to forget everything. It was a mess. So I was like really like, I was like annoyed at myself just at my like inability to do simple tasks. Then we went to the beach, and once we got there, it was like, wow, this is so nice. And that's where the high like changed, I guess, to like for the better. It just felt so good. And I was like, dude, the wind on my skin was so nice. We dove in the ocean, me and Jaime, which is like freezing cold, actually. I heard it's supposed to be warmer down there, but I thought it was pretty cold. What did you think?
I thought it was. I remember it not being as cold as
Up
like
here.
you were. No, as you were. Because I remember not shivering as much, and I don't know if it's because I was just so focused, but I was like, it just felt so good for a second, you know. But man, that beach is so beautiful. Like it's just beautiful. So soft, you know.
We'll put a bunch of pictures here, but yeah, the sand. I don't know if it was because it was high or if it actually was, but I remember feeling the sand and being like, dude, this is the softest sand I've ever felt in my life. Like it was so fine. Like I remember saying it's so fine. Like the grains of sand are like so small. It was so nice. But yeah, that was nice. And then after that, I like came down and I was like, I felt normal, but I just felt so fucking exhausted. Like so exhausted. The rest of the night, we went out to eat. And then Issa brought like one of her friends around, which I felt like bad about because like everybody she lives with, first of all, in her like commune, they're all so fucking annoying. I'm just kidding. Everybody who lives, because she lives in a commune, which is like
she's a communist.
Yeah, and it's like this big. There's like 3 different houses like on this property, and like the whole point of living there basically is to like mingle with everybody who lives there, and you share like a kitchen and like a living room. And it's just like squat up. Like that's the whole point. It's just to meet people and shit. So everybody that lives there is like very extroverted. And she brought this, like her friend, his name's Josh. Shout out.
Here's a picture.
She brought him with us to go eat that night. And I felt bad because I was like, this guy, like I know he wants to talk so much, but I'm just so like, I was just so fucking dead. And I remember being a little concerned, like, not concerned, but I felt kind of bummed because I was like, I feel like I ruined the trip a little bit. Because I was so goddamn high for like the whole first day. And then even when I wasn't high, I was just so exhausted, you know? But we also did leave at like 11 p.m. to drive to San Diego. So we ended up getting there to like 6 a.m. So the whole trip really was just like, it was kind of doomed.
You're not going to be like super energetic anyways.
Exactly.
You know?
Like we didn't set ourselves up for like the best trip ever, you know? But I still think it was pretty good. Like we made the best of it for sure.
The nightlife and just the things that you could do there are so vast. Like, I keep telling people like it just seems like you could do something every day and be different. You know, it just seemed very fun too. Like there was a little jazz. It was like jazz kind of. You know those kids that were playing the music?
On the street.
Yeah, just like live music, and it's just like it just felt so nice, you know. And just seeing like the lights and everything was really good. The weather was really good. There's so many attractive people there.
That was a big thing that I noticed about San Diego that I've been telling everybody is like. There's so many like young and hot people walking around. Like when you walk around, it's literally like there's just so many baddies, and I'm like, what's going on? Like
literally,
what is in the air? Like
there's like rarely you'll see like an older person. You know, like everyone's just in their prime time, ready to shine. You know,
it feels like you just walked onto like a college campus in the middle of fucking spring. You know, it's like, what is going on?
And it's crazy. You could tell like the statuses of people. You know, like rich and like. And just like if you're going to school or if you have a business, like it just seems like so many characters, like strong characters though, you know?
Yeah, there's like dudes in suits and there's like college people partying and yeah, it's a very happening place. I've never really been somewhere like that where like you go into a certain part of the city at night and it's just like crawling with people, like fucking ants, like everywhere. There's just people like you could hardly walk down the street almost. Like you have to like zigzag in and out of people. It's kind of like, it's kind of crazy, but
what's nice about this place, I feel too, is like it did feel spacious at least though.
San Diego.
Yeah, like it didn't. I never felt like too crammed.
City.
You know, like I just felt like they gave space to what was needed. You know, who knows? In like 20 years, I'm sure it'll be overpopulated by then. You know.
Yeah.
But like right now, it's just like it's a lot of people and a lot of things going on, but like. I don't know, just the design. I never felt suffocated, which was nice. And like, a city like that, it's like. I feel like you could feel suffocated, you know?
Yeah. One thing we did was ride bird scooters too. It's so fucking fun. That was the first time I've ever done that.
Some clips.
Yeah. That was the day we were leaving. Like we went to get breakfast and where we parked, it was like right next to like hella bird scooters. And we were like, dude, fuck it. Let's do it. And it was hella fun.
I've never been so happy.
Right? You feel like a kid again.
Dude, it was so fun to ride. and you're going so fast. Like, I'm surprised how fast they let you go. And I'm just that, like, in the beginning, that slight fear of just like, I might crash. But then, like, that just went away so quick, you know? And I just like, you just feel like you're driving like it's something you've never drove before, you know? And I just was like, dude, this is fun. One
thing I thought, I'm going to put this picture here. This is like my fucking favorite picture of Jaime. It's the one of you like across the street, hella far. This is how your fit was so funny. He's wearing like short ass shorts on the birds. You know what I'm talking about? What?
I have the hat in my car.
Oh, fuck, we totally forgot. So we got these hats on the way to San Diego at like fucking 12 or 1 a.m. And I think we stopped in like Fresno on the way to San Diego.
Chris's hat looks like it's been passed down from 3 different generations.
I don't even know why. Like, it's been in my car, but it wasn't like stuffed in my car. It was just like sitting in the trunk. But yeah, Jesus, I should get a fucking refund or something. They were $35 each.
I told Chris I was trying to encourage him to buy it. And
of course, my cheap ass didn't want to.
And of course, me telling Chris to do something. And I was like,
do something he wouldn't do himself because I bought both of them.
I was like, buy him. No way anything's more than $10 like at a gas station.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen anything more than $10 at a gas station. These hats are probably like $10, you know?
Yeah.
All
maybe
right.
12.
And then
at
the counter, he said 35.
35 each.
But
no way I dropped fucking like $75 at a gas station. Not even on gas, just on collectibles.
The times we're in.
But okay, the reason they're so expensive is if you look at the top here, we got solar panels on the top of the hats. And anytime you're in the sun and that solar panel catches the sun rays from the sunny, the fucking wheel here starts spinning and it fans your fucking the top of your scalp.
And you can feel the breeze.
Yeah, you can feel it. When I was lit, I was wearing this to the beach and I was like, bro, it was kind of like a cool sensation feeling the breeze. But
yeah, it's something you don't feel. Like, what the fuck is like, it's like a little ecosystem in your head, you know?
It's funny because on the inside of it, there's like fucking open wires everywhere. Like, it looks so not safe.
I didn't realize it till the next day because thank God. Because I was like, I wasn't even caring, you know?
Yeah, wet ass hair in there.
Look at this.
Is it bad? Wait,
it's
tilt
like
it a little bit?
fucking. This is something.
You can't see. You gotta tilt it a little bit.
This is something the Unabomber would make. Like literally,
fucking murder among the Mormons type shit. But it was funny because when we bought these, like we just walked into the gas station. It was dummy late. We're tired. There were these girls in there. It was like a group. I don't know, like 3 or 4 girls. And they happened to like go right next to us because they're like looking at some drinks while we were looking at the hats. Our backs were turned. We're looking at the hats. I don't even remember how it started, but there were just like these comments being hoisted our way from these girls.
Being tossed our way.
I mean, forcefully. You know, there was some harassment going on.
I had to listen.
She made comments about my ass. I mean,
yes, they were very bold.
No, I'm kidding. But they were bold. Like they were. Damn it! No way I'm botching this. Okay, how did it start? What did they say?
I don't know, but we were looking at hats, and I think they wanted us to buy the hat because they're like, "Oh, y'all should buy the hat."
Oh, they said we looked good. They were like, "Oh, you guys look really good in those." Like, by the way, you know. And then I was like, "Oh yeah." I started talking about. I was like, "Oh, like which one should I get?" And then I don't know. They just kept mumbling like all these like flirtatious things, but like not making eye contact. Like they would just like walk around the store like
just saying it. Like you just hear like
spewing like compliments at us, and I was like, "What?" And
it's funny because they're like what 30 years old or something, and they're just like tatted, and they're all like they're just bold, you know?
Yeah, they
like,
go
bold
fuck.
people. So I just know that like this is just so cash for them, you know?
Literally. And there was one comment at the end. It was the very last comment where we all kind of looked at each other like, "What the fuck?" I heard this girl, the boldest of the bunch. She said, "And I like skiing too." I thought that's what she said. Which skiing, if you ever heard of it, is a sexual term for when a woman is jerking 2 men off at the same time, like so. You see the skiing motion?
No way she
so
was
I
referencing that.
Maybe it's just my mind, like that's where it goes, you know?
You Urban
because
Dictionary.
I think Noelle was like, I think she said I like skinny too. Because we were wearing like, and she was talking about her shorts. Because we always wear like shorter shorts. She was like, I like those little booty shorts. I was like, Jesus. And then
she was like,
good God Almighty. I know. But that's what I heard at the end was the
I know what she said.
What did she say?
I remember. She said, I like skinny guys too. I swear she said skinny.
Either way, it was a direct proposition for me to go home with those women. I'm just kidding. Just totally take it like so
me.
far. Me only. I'm the skinniest.
Noel would just be driving and minding his own for the first time.
But that was interesting. That just doesn't happen. Like,
yeah, we're never in those positions. Like,
not since I was a kid. I don't think I've ever been talked to like that. Like, I remember being like maybe like 12 years old, and sometimes like I'd be at the skate park and girls would just like harass me, like saying I'm a cutie or something. It was always like baby cute, which is my pet peeve. When people call me baby cute.
Chris has been on a roll lately with these comments that he's received, and they've always just been like, "You're so cute.
You know, you're so adorable." Like squeezing my cheeks. I'm like, do you know how big my penis is? I'm just kidding. Do you know any idea the type of damage I could do to your cervix? I'm just kidding. I can't. I'm not even hanging like that. I'm a very average penis.
Seen?
This is what happens when we record at fucking 10 p.m., bro. What is going on?
I know we
this
had
podcast got off the rails. But yeah, it was really shocking to be talked to like that. I didn't appreciate it one bit.
I remember being just like so like I don't even know how to respond to this.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think any of us like responded really. We were just like
we weren't bold back for sure.
No.
It was just like
you're just so cut off guard too. Like
huh? You know?
Like it's not like we're in a bar. We're in a fucking gas station. You know? So that was interesting. But yeah, I don't know.
The
fart's so bad. Sorry, what?
I was gonna say the rest of the trip, but after the scooters.
Oh, I was gonna make a comment. It's kind of off topic though. Should I hit it?
Fuck it.
Something I observed on the trip, right? This is something I want to put out there. I thought I should be, on the mainstream here.
Nothing behind closed doors.
As we like meandered throughout the commune, Isauda's like living quarters, we would meet like different people that lived there and stuff. And of course, like I said, they're all like super social and stuff. So they would like start talking to us and stuff, whatever, shooting the shit, And there were these two women that we met like right before we were about to do the podcast. We were literally like about to head up the stairs to Issa's room so we could like start recording. We met these two women. Isauda like introduces us and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, like what do you guys have planned, right?" And Issa was like, "Oh, like these are my friends. They have this podcast thing and we're going to go like record something for it and then we're going to go to the beach and like have a good rest of the day, And I was like, excuse me?
Can you run that by me one more time?
The podcast thing.
The podcast what?
I don't like this whole like derogatory kind of like, and especially coming from Issa, like Isauda texts us after every single podcast episode and gives us feedback, says what she likes, what she didn't like, comments on stories, you know what I mean? She just made us an Avi for our shit.
Here's the new Avis that we're gonna be having / logo. Please appreciate it. Let us know the level in comments. Yeah, she made that super sick, super cool.
Sir.
Let us know.
That's like a birthday gift for both of us too, because both our birthdays are this month. Jaime's already passed the other day.
Yep, 22.
Woo. Anyways, we're not dancing around this.
Yeah.
This is serious shit here.
Issa's like,
she's like, fuck. Why? Like literally just the way she brushed by it. Yeah, they have a podcast thing. I'm like, it's a podcast period. That's it. Signed, sealed, delivered.
That's final.
That's final. I don't know why she's, as soon as there's girls around, fucking.
She's the kind of girl that's.
Look how small Chris's hands are. As soon as there's girls around. But I was like, are you serious? And like, it kind of, I just let it slide. But I was thinking about this like last night when I was thinking about topics. And I was like, no way we just let that like go like that,
Imagine
crazy.
We're like, oh yeah, this is just Issa's whole paper about immigration and what? Fuck, I forgot what is the topic?
Her topic, I don't remember. It's immigration and like undocumented something.
I know she had to do a study for it.
It was like her senior year of college.
I just don't know what the point was.
Research study that she did.
That was the focus.
Anyways,
we're not sliding by it.
But yeah, I just the disrespect was
real.
It was crazy on that one. But what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
They ride with you the whole way, and then as soon as the strangers
they're on your podcast
around,
3 times and sabotage you. One she'll say, and they just beef with you after.
One thing about Issa too, and transition to a different topic here. I recently painted like the staircases around our house with my grandfather because they need to be painted. And like I've done a lot of like little projects with him and shit. Like we've built fences together. I think it was kind of like once my parents split and my dad was like less in the picture for me. I think my gramps
When
was
you were
like
1 years old.
Bro, I always do you remember what your dad looks like? I think my gramps like was like, okay, I got to step in and show this motherfucker how to be a man, you know? So like we've built a lot of stuff together. We've built like a door for our shed, like from scratch, literally just like wood, hammering, nails, painting, sanding, all this shit. So we've done a lot of little things like that. I was telling Issa about it, how I painted our stairs recently. Put her on blast again.
No, I think everybody said her name.
Shit. Whatever. Who cares?
I'm sure
I'm not
she
gonna
doesn't mind.
fucking tell her anything. She was like, dude, I don't care how misogynistic it sounds. I fucking love when a man like knows how to do stereotypically manly shit, like building stuff, fixing stuff, painting stuff, whatever. She's like, and I would not even be in a relationship with somebody who didn't know how to do that. No way she's about to drag me after this, bro.
No, I think it's fine because I think a lot of people are
Teach their
probably.
own, you know?
I think a lot of people are probably in the same bubble. Like you probably. I'm sure there's a lot of girls who like want at least a basic level of stuff.
Of manliness. Yeah.
Yeah, just
they
like
probably won't want to
knowledge.
admit it, but like it's there, you know?
Yeah.
The misogyny. But I thought that was interesting. And I was like, I never even thought of myself in that way until she kind of said that. And I was like, I guess I kind of do know how to like do some stuff like that now, like painting and woodwork
I feel
and
like
shit.
Chris always finds solutions to his own problems. You know,
Really?
like which
What
is
about my
like,
marriage?
I'm just kidding. I just lost my wife.
Lost my wife. Clip here.
How upset do you feel right now?
I'm pretty fucking upset, okay? I have an iPhone 10. I'm stuck in another fucking world, okay? I just don't have a fucking brick from the 80s. Trying to get a picture of the stars. There's fucking people driving by. They think we're in trouble, okay? I'm not happy. I just lost my wife. Get that camera out of my face.
Like every time your sink's messed up or you're like there's a chip in this or you gotta like something's not working in the house or something.
Like when I rubbed aluminum foil vigorously and around my toilet bowl and I scratched the shit about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're finding solutions, you know, and then like you're not gonna forget that most of the time.
A lot of it's like through YouTube though. Like that's the thing nowadays. I feel like you don't even have to be that manly.
Well,
You could just
in
kind
your
of.
position, that's all you have. You know, YouTubedads.com.
I don't know. I was trying to think of a joke and I got nothing. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about like how manly do you think you are?
Do you
As a
want
little
me to
bitch.
rate it?
Me or you?
Do you want me to put it on a scale?
Mine or yours?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Just because the scale.
because you fucking hate scales.
I don't.
The change in tone of the voice.
I don't think there's that much. I don't know what's manly. Like, okay, like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know anything.
Like, say you're in a relationship. Do you feel like a fucking man, or do you feel like
No.
No,
Oh,
not at all.
I feel like
What about you laying it down?
yeah.
Let's go there.
Me when I'm laying it down. Like I feel like there's certain things where I feel like confident in, where it's like I don't want to say manly. I don't like that. Like like more just like stronger, confident. I don't know. In that sense, where it's just like
Capable.
yeah, more capable. Like there's some things where I just feel like very capable of like, oh, like when we're out together, like I feel capable enough to like protect someone. You know?
Really? I was gonna
Or-
ask about that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like fake confidence is good too. You know, like even if
I've never
I
felt-
don't know, like I just feel like I feel really good, like for the most part. Just I feel like people are just so uninformed in how to fight, so I just feel really good.
Yeah,
you know?
I've never felt confident like in that situation, and it runs through my head a lot. Like, if something went down, would I be able to fucking like handle the situation, take away the threat?
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't think so. Maybe now. I mean, now I'm probably like a little bit more confident because I'm like a month into jujitsu. You know, I know a couple takedowns and shit, but you got punching there too, so that's kind of hard. Yeah, you're probably right though. I think a lot of people don't really like. They know how to fight, like from what they see in videos, probably like just throwing your punches. But like, do you know how to fucking like stop somebody from hitting you or like restrain them? You know,
And I think what's
citizen's arrest.
what's helped me / might be like false confidence is like I used to be very skinny, right? And like over the years I've gotten like just like thicker and bigger, you
Yeah.
know? And that's like made me like feel really big too. Like someone's friend from the past told me I look bigger than I was.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but like I can just tell from your tone that it's somebody we can't say. Just say it. We'll bleep it. Oh, she told you that?
Remember, she's like, "Oh, you act."
You could say it. Why is that bad?
I don't know.
We'll bleep it anyways. But anyways.
I just remember her saying like, Jaime, you always like I always forget how small you actually are, or something like that. You know?
How small you actually are?
Yeah, or just like how much smaller you are than like what you project. You know?
Mm.
And I'm just like, I don't even know how the fuck I act this way because I'm only 155 pounds. You know, like I'm technically not that big. You know? But I feel like fucking like a bulldog. You know, sometimes.
You act like you're 200.
I act like I'm 200. You know.
I don't know. I've definitely like. This is something we've talked about too. I feel like my confidence has grown like times like 10 since we started this podcast.
Since your surgery.
That too. We'll probably talk about that soon on this pod. But I think we've brushed by this topic too. But yeah, like I started this pod. I got my surgery. I've gained mass, so like the same as you. You know, I've gotten bigger and shit. I don't know. There's just like a lot of things that have like boosted my confidence in the past like year or like 9 months or so. But I feel like I walk around with my head held pretty high now. But yeah, about the physical, like I don't know. I'm still a little like shy, especially because I go to jiu-jitsu and like I think that I'm bigger now and shit, but I get handled. Like I'm rarely ever against somebody like my size, and I just get my shit ran, you know? Even with somebody my size.
So if there's any 30-pound people.
Yeah, if you want to come fucking
join jiu-jitsu, so that way Chris can have some partners here.
There we go. But about the manly stuff, I still don't even feel that manly, like with the shit that like Isauta was saying, like knowing how to fix broken things around the house or whatever, or like cars. Like I barely know how to do anything. And if I do, it's like it's probably because I YouTubed it, or like my gramps like showed me how to do it, and I kind of have like a rough idea of how to do it, like on my own, you know. But I don't know. I don't think I'm that much of a man.
Yeah, I don't
really think that way. I don't think of myself in that way. Like, am I a fucking man? I'm just like, I think I'm a critical person.
I don't even have like a manly scale, like our manly thing. It's just like you know how to do something, you don't know something, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you know, like I just was never taught. I was never taught, and the few times I was taught were so spaced out that I don't remember. And then when my dad did want to teach, I didn't give a shit anymore. You know, like I was like, my dad's like, "Oh, let's go change the oil."
He's like, "You're gonna want to know this when you have your own house." That's what my dad would say.
Really
shit. Like, I don't give a shit. I just want to get on my phone and go and kick. You know?
It's just like, bro, if you would have gave me this like attachment to this subjects early on, I would have been such more of a seeker.
Yeah.
And you weren't. So I'm like, I'm not going to all of a sudden get this love, you know?
I remember being like really young and my dad like always wanting us to do like manual labor with him, like hella yard work and shit around the house, like washing the windows. But we had a 2-story house, so it's like you had to get on a fucking ladder and spray it and like go up there. There's like all this shit that we would do like maintenance wise. And I remember complaining like to him, like, I don't want to do it, you know, or like just like lollygagging, like barely moving, you know. And I remember him like specifically telling me like, this is gonna be so much better when you're older, like you're gonna know how to do all this stuff, you're gonna appreciate it. And I guess I kind of do now, but like not as much as I think he thought I would, you know.
Yeah, I think if I did do more, I'd probably like look back and be like, oh, okay, at least I did it, like at least I learned, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not like I don't give a shit where it's like I don't think it's useful and I don't think I'm not going to need it. But I've just never been that person to be like, I want to go out and work on like the car, or I want to go out and like try to fix something in my house. Like
that's just the last
just,
thing
like,
on my list.
Yeah, that's like a responsibility, a chore, you know. Like if I'm going to learn something, I want to learn something like that I want to do, you know.
Yeah.
The only thing that sucks, and like I'm learning this more in like the dating world, and as you get older, is like when you go like date different people and stuff like that, you know. You're in situations where you have to like kind of present what you know and you don't know, like within the first few dates. Yeah. And I just know like sometimes I get like kind of just like embarrassed, like even just like not knowing where things are. Like I'm honest with the people. And I'm
like driving around.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't know what like anything. Like I don't know where anything is on GPS.
I'm just really bad at that. Yeah.
And just certain stuff where they'll mention something and I'll be like, I don't know what that is, you know. And that happens a lot with Chris. Like Chris knows so much shit I don't know sometimes, you know.
For some reason. Yeah.
For some weird reason. And like, it's interesting, like, getting to the point where when you're older, like, that matters now. You're like, oh shit, like, everything's kind of like not backfiring, because it's just who I am. Like, if I'm sure I'll find someone who doesn't care about that, you know. But it is interesting how like that starts to like filter people out, you know, like with the Holy Sawa situation, like.
Yeah, like she wouldn't date you. I'm just kidding. Is there anything you could think of for me that like I lack knowledge on?
I think self-esteem is a big one. Self-control. I think if you maybe had some decency in any part of that heart you have, I think you'd be a lot better.
As soon as those words left my lips, I was like, I know Jaime's just gonna fucking take advantage of this so much.
Okay, could you say the question again?
Is there like shit like that that you think I'm lacking, that it's like
in what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, it would come up where I'm like, damn, I'm kind of embarrassed. I don't like have any knowledge on that or know how to do that.
I feel like a lot of things, like, not to be a jerk, but like you're the same situation as me. Yeah. Like if someone told you anything about how to fix this like paint on the wall, you know, or maybe like how to change the sink, like how to declog your sink or something like that, or stuff like that, where it's like my toilet's not flushing. Like you're not gonna be like, oh, like I kind of know that, or you know,
yeah,
you're not gonna know how to pick like a lawnmower, or you're not gonna know what like type of brand to use, like, you know.
Yeah, anytime shit comes up with like cars, honestly, like stereotypically manly topics, I'm just like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about. Like the job world, financial literacy, like I don't fucking know. Like,
you know what I was thinking? So there's this guy at our work, and he's an older gentleman, and like he comes to our work twice a week. He's like kind of he works for a different company, and he gives us parts. Yeah. So he's one of our vendors, and he gives us things, right? But he's a cool guy, you know, salesman, but a cool guy. He's older, he's very wise. Like every time he talks and, you know, says stories, they're like, he thinks so critical, you know? And I was like, and it's been months, you know? I'm like, damn, like to have a dad like that, you know?
To have a dad period?
To have a dad period. And it's just like, it's crazy how much influence you don't have, you know? Yeah. And then later on, I kind of found out he was like, he's pretty like Christian conservative, you know? And it was like, oh, that's kind of weird. You know, like, well, just like the way he was talking about it, I knew it was kind of like, it just didn't seem like him, you know? Like he just seems like the all kind of angle kind of person. So for him to like be like stuck into something, that was more shocking, you know? Anyways, I was thinking, I was like, I don't know how much you like your dad, you know? And I like my dad. He's a cool guy. And like we've gone like a lot better and closer relationship, and like tolerable, and like I'm not scared of him, or like stuff like that, where like we can talk, you know, and he's cool. Actually, like love him a lot now. And
his dad's funny as fuck too.
He's a really cool guy, especially like a good party person, like very fun, like
fun guy to be around.
Characteristics I really like about him, and like characteristics I don't like about him, right? So then I was thinking,
wait, when we were in San Diego, Noel was like hella laughing. He's like, bro, Jaime's from a fucking different planet. Just like the things that Jaime does sometimes are just so like bizarre. It's like, or the comments he makes or the jokes he makes. It's like, how do you even think about that, you know? And then we were at your like birthday dinner little thing you had. He was looking at your dad, and I think your dad, he was like recording everybody at the table like a dad, like holding the phone like this, just going around. And at the end, he flips the phone towards himself, but it's using the front camera, not the face camera, so he can't see. And he's just like, we're all dying. And then Noel's like, that's where he gets it from. He's like, that's why Jaime's the way he is.
My dad does do some crazy ass shit, and like, it's funny because me and Angel are laughing because my dad goes like this, like, and then we're like, imagine my dad just all one like,
his dad just gets so frantic sometimes. Like, I think he just wants to control everything. So when people are doing things like not the way he wants it to be done or something, he's like, like, relax. That's exactly how he talks too. It sounded just like, acted like someone who fell on the floor and you fucking just shut the refrigerator.
You get the veins popping out. He's all red and stuff.
He's just one walking hernia.
He's going in frame and out of frame.
You're gonna
you got the backache. Give me that. He's just trying to take a That's some shit.
He's like the SpongeBob meme where it's like the words are like caps and not caps and caps and not caps, you know? The SpongeBob meme. Where his lip is like a pointy. He's like that, like walking around.
Anyways.
It's like your dad just stubbed his toe like 20 times in a row. He just keeps stubbing it. That's how he talks.
He said it's just a forever glitch. So,
Gesundheit.
that you brought up the topic, right? So we're gonna rewind that back.
Yeah. I don't even remember where we were.
I was thinking, even though we didn't get like a lot of characteristics or like knowledge from our dad, some I did obviously.
Yeah.
But like, imagine like do you ever think like the bad characteristics you would have got, and you're kind of like grateful, like that wasn't passed on to you as much?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, what kind of traits would you have, like, would you say you've seen in your dad where you're like, I'm like, if I was raised by you closer and like we had a bigger bond, I knew I would like almost idolize that and be like that, you know?
My dad is so goddamn cheap. It's disgusting. Like, he's so cheap. It's crazy. And I think it's made me pretty cheap, but I've come to realize, like, money isn't everything. And it could get you, like, you need to fucking let loose every once in a while, you know, if you really want to, like, enjoy shit. So that's, like, a big one. Is like, I think if I was around him more, like, I could have adopted that ideal, you know? First of all, also, like... I think somebody made a comment to us once, like, you guys talk about your dads like they're, like, not even in your life at all. Because it could be worse, for sure. Like,
Oh, yeah.
my dad was in my life for a long time, but there was always, like, crazy-ass, like, problems in my family. And then they divorced at, like, 15, just to give some context here, when I was, like, 15 years old. And then after that, my dad kind of, like, moved away. And I'll see him, like, once a year or, like, twice a year maybe. But we text, like, every once in a while, but it's, like, so, like, small talk. It's like no connection really, but yeah, I'll see every once in a while. But anyways, just to clear that up, Ham is similar, right?
Yeah, I'll
kinda?
get the backstory real quick one. Like, yeah, I mean, my parents, I didn't think divorced until I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess a little later. This is just from my perspective. One, I have like no really memories of anything, like so of anything in that just ever. But especially of like with my dad, the only thing I remember is like vaguely camping trips and like certain memories. Real quick, like my dad wasn't like the like worst dad ever or meanest dad.
Yeah.
But he was really like angry, like very angry a lot, and like physically snappy and like emotionally snappy. And he didn't really hate me that much, but like just the thought of it was like very terrifying, you know? And then my mom was like the opposite. She's very like, she doesn't hit. Like she's hit me probably maybe like 3 times in my life, and like that's it.
Yeah.
And just that balance was always even just more traumatic because it was like my mom was so like anti, so like even the thought of him like kind of like wanting to hit us, it would be like she'd be like, you know, and then
so it's like you were scared, but also it's like just the environment would change so much, and everybody else would be like,
yeah, like so then my mom's already like going so like defendy, so that just makes my dad even scarier, you know, and it's just my dad's like, my dad just doesn't know, I'm sure, like how to handle me, like just or handle kids, you know, like why are you trying to hit us, like you know, like bro, like are you that mad, you know, stuff like that. So. Just like growing up, I just remember being like scared in a sense. And it's hard to even say that now with like a good conscience because now I'm not scared of him really. So like I almost feel bad because I'm like, you know, but I'm trying to remember how I felt, you know. And like I said, he's doing a lot better. But I'm not trying to bash him anyways. But yeah, so like I remember just that like relationship being there was always just like very like big gap. And then when they got divorced and stuff, like I think he just like left to the Bay Area. I'm sure some part is my mom's, like she wasn't really like eager to go to the Bay Area or eager to go see my dad or like, you know, be in that side. Yeah. And so you could also say like, oh yeah, she never made an effort, but more him, like, bro, I swear I didn't see him for so long. Like I just don't. And then he'd go to Mexico for a long time, then come every once in a while, then, you know, and very quick. Like I said, I don't really remember. And then just like these last like 6 years, I would say, like he's been making more of an effort. Like I just remember like all of a sudden I'm like, I'm seeing you more, you know, like I'm just seeing you more. And he's a lot calmer. I think it's age too. It's crazy. Like age really just windows down people sometimes. Like, and you could just tell he like doesn't have the like flame of just like going crazy, you know,
to beat the shit out of you again. Just kidding. Sorry.
Which is nice too, because I also remember like gaining my own confidence and just being like I just got so good at like calming him down in a sense where I was just like so like bro, like relax. Like,
Relax,
you know, like,
yeah.
dude, like calm down. Like, that's it. Like, you know, like I just remember being in that position where I was like, I can just tell you what I want, you know,
Damn.
and that's that, you know, like,
Yeah.
and before it was just so foreign, you know, like you're not gonna talk back, you're not gonna say anything, like, you know, you're just quiet, and he's like made more effort to like talk with me and everyone. The only thing that's I would say sucks, which is like, you're just never gonna be the same. Like I'm not gonna like, I love him so much, you know, it's like it's your dad, I guess, but it's like I'm never gonna be like, oh man, you know. And that sucks too, because it's like you want that, I'm sure, you know. It's
Yeah.
in certain situations, like we were saying, but also because a big like sign of this is that he always says like I don't call him,
Oh shit.
and he calls me like
So my fucking dad says to me,
he's like call
Be
me
like, nobody talks to me anymore. Why do you and your sister, you don't talk to me anymore? Why does nobody talk to me? I don't hear anything. I'm like, bro, you've been gone for so long.
Like, what do you expect me? Like, you expect me to like think of you on a random Tuesday, like, you know? And
Yeah.
I feel bad because I'm like he would tell me like every phone call. And I know I'm gonna feel bad when they're like passed away. And I'm like, you know?
Should have, yeah.
Sorry, I know I said I was gonna be quick. But I
Fuck
kinda
it,
did
dude. Let's
that.
get into it.
But like,
I don't even remember the fucking.
Do you want to say anything like more of yours because yours was quick, or are you good?
The cheap one. It's kind of like the cheap one's the main one, and it kind of like disperses out to like all his other little things I wouldn't want. But like, he has like a lot of trust issues with people. Like, he doesn't trust anybody. So like, that's a big one too, because that's like that shit's so exhausting. So that I feel like you also like. He's very social, which is something I like. But I feel like with having like trust issues with people, it's like makes it hard to like really make friends, you know, when you're like keeping your guard up so much, because he doesn't like open up a lot either. That's like something that's kind of like, some of my family members are like better than others with that, but like some of my family members are so like they will not vent at all to me, you know, or like so that like that's something I'm not a fan of, because it's like Issa said. I love what Isauda said, since I bashed her so much. On the last pod, she was like, there's strength in vulnerability. And that's like the best fucking phrase ever, dude. 'Cause it's like all my friends, like all my homies are people who are like willing to be vulnerable, you know? Like we talk about shit that's going on, you know? Say it how it is. So he would never do that. So that's like something I don't like.
He would never
do that. So that's a tough one, 'cause it's like I can only be so close to you if you're not willing to like mirror my energy, you know? Anyways, any others that you could think of?
So what about your dad's racism? Just kidding. That's not racist.
He's not racist.
That's just what it is.
You know what's crazy? I'm not trying to say this as like a flex or anything. My dad's half Mexican, and I realized that recently, and I was like, I'm so white. Like,
Oh, wow.
What the fuck, you know?
Really?
I
Is that
mean,
Mexican?
That means I'm like barely Mexican, if I am, but
Isn't that like, that means you're a quarter? I don't know how
I
fractions
guess.
work.
I think so, because my grandpa's like full Mexican.
Wait.
My dad's dad is like full Mexican, but then everybody else is white. Like my dad's mom is white. My mom's
Oh,
parents are white.
I think your dad's a quarter Mexican.
Is that how that works?
I think so. I could be wrong, bro. I don't know. I think your dad's a quarter Mexican, and then what? You're 16th.
Maybe. That
Or
makes more
0.16?
sense.
I don't know.
We probably sound so fucking dumb.
I can't wait till some calculus motherfucker. There's some guy who
Some
took
fucking
biology.
feet guy. He's like, by the way, can you guys still switch your shoes? I
He
really
knows-
want to see that.
He knows this.
By the way, Pythagorean theorem.
He knows the square. What is it called? The genetic squares, where they do the
The
capital
Punnett
R?
squares?
Yeah.
Yeah. The recessive and
Yeah,
dominant.
some guy asked us to swap our feet if we said, could I just small little request, just a great pod and all, but can you just swap your shoes in the middle of a pod? And it was just like, so like, how does that have anything to do with what I'm talking about?
Everything we just talked about, and the one comment you have is, can you guys please exchange socks and shoes mid-pod?
Like, can you care about us?
Odd, bro.
I was
It's
talking about
funny.
our
to-
deep depression. It's like, can you just
Literally. And some guy, it's just funny, bro. Like, this shit's endless, but there's hella, like, feet dudes that comment. Like, one was like, hey, guys, I have this small request. He was like, I just noticed that half the camera angle is the wall with the paintings, and the other half is just, like, legs up. And he's like, we want to see your feet. And I think Jaime, like, commented back. He's like, oh, well, it's because we want to keep, like, the sign in and the paintings. And the guy was like, understandable, Jaime, but it is a bit frustrating because
He doubled down.
He doubled down.
I was like, I'm trying to be so nice and professional. Like, oh, okay, I get it, but like frustration.
This is
you know?
why, you know?
It's like,
And
but
he's like,
actually, it's quite
actually,
frustrating.
no.
Like, wait, what?
Whose podcast is this, bro?
Who's the director here?
Oh my god, what were we talking about?
Just like the characteristic traits you wouldn't want to have passed on by your father.
I don't really remember any others. Fuck, there's something else I want to talk about. Oh, okay. So, like, if you don't have any more about the traits thing, do you?
I guess not.
Do you have any more?
Real quick, it's weird though, like, cause like you're still kind of cheap, and then like I'm still kind of an anger person, and I'm sure like we both hate that from our dads.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about this with like before, and I've said this to always people, a lot of people. It's like it's crazy how like the things you don't want to do, like you still do, just because like that's the only thing you see, you know?
Yeah.
But it's frustrating because like that just means I'm lacking, because it's like the only way you're not gonna do something you don't want to do just by saying you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm sure that'll help a lot, like very good manifestation, self-awareness. But at the same time, there's like, you got to learn like other ways, and you got to be taught like very hard, you know? And like, none I did really, you know?
I remember in my sociology class in college, I took one sociology class and I fucking learned so much from it. But I remember my professor saying it's even harder to unlearn than it is to learn something. So like once something's in your head, it's fucking in there, dude. Like it's in there. The brain's like crazy. It's like a computer, you know? Like that shit's, it's there. It's encoded, you know? It's kind of like Inception when he was like in the beginning, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's like, let me tell you about something even stronger than a sickness or something. He's like, a thought. He's like, once it's there, you know?
He's like, don't think about an elephant. What are you thinking about?
An elephant, bitch. Yeah. So
Bitch.
bitch. Fucking love saying this shit. But it's really hard to like unlearn shit. I think that's like a big thing where it's like you were abused your whole like childhood. So the one thing you don't want to do is like abuse your children, but then you still do it. Like is that an oxymoron? Or it's like something you wouldn't think would
that
be.
That sounds like something I'd put in a washing
like
machine. So I don't really know.
I don't know either. I was never good with like the grammar words and all that shit. But yeah, it's like you would think the last thing somebody would do is like abuse their children after they suffered the same thing, but it's like when that's what you know, it's like that's embedded in your brain so fucking hard because that was like the person. Like that was your caretaker and they beat the shit out of you. You know?
It's like when is the last time you've seen your parents, like, let's just say they had an argument.
Happy.
And both of them were like, let's discuss this on the table.
Exactly.
Like, when have you ever seen that?
Never.
And it's like,
okay,
that's
maybe,
all it takes.
It never worked.
Like,
I remember my mom being like, are we going to talk about this? But it was like, she was hella heated. So I was like, it just didn't end up.
I just can't even imagine being in.
Having healthy ass.
Like, no, that too. I just can't even imagine, like, being so many years in and you're still having, like, hard arguments. Like,
yeah.
Wow,
what are we doing
what
here?
Exhausting. Like, I just think, like, sometimes I see relationships and I see, like, one person wants the other person to be this way, and you know, or stuff like that, where it's just like, why are you together? Like,
if you're trying to convince this person
like,
to change
why?
and shit,
you know,
like,
I know we talk about this all the time, so I don't
yeah,
want to get
we really
into that,
do.
but it's just like, how do you just like, oh, you know? Yeah. Anyways.
Okay, one thing, which is funny because you do. I think other people point out too, like from your dad. I think you picked this up is like you snap a lot, anger wise. Like when people are doing something you want, you're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" You know. And then same with the cheapness here. But
I think I talked about this in the pod. So real quick, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I would do that with my ex. I'd be like, "Why are you so mad?" But I would say it like that, like not really screaming.
But was it in a serious context when she actually was like upset at you about something?
No, I was upset.
Oh,
exactly. So I'd be like, "Oh my," later or something like that,
yeah.
you know. But like we used to be. I think we used to do that a lot more. Like with our friends, we used to. That's
and
how
it
we
caught
do it
on to us
all the time. We'd be like, you know, all the time. So then when I would do it to her, it was like serious. Like I was probably upset, but I wasn't really like mad.
Yeah.
Like, and I wasn't like very threatening. But I remember her like doing or saying something where I like realized like she didn't like it. Like it was like genuinely like kind of like too much, and I was like, God, that's an awful feeling. Like, holy shit,
you've
like
been doing it.
Yeah, like, and I've been doing it, you know. And for me, it wasn't anything like too crazy. But then I'm thinking like, well, just because I've seen it so much and like you only take it this level, you know. But it's like not a healthy way to communicate. Like that's not healthy at all. To just be like, you know. I know I do it with you guys now more or less. You know,
it's like a joke. You know, it's not serious. I don't think I've ever seen you genuinely mad. It's kind of crazy.
Really?
Because I've seen you like that like thousands of times, but I've never seen you like so pissed that you're like shaking or like yelling or, you know, I've never seen that, which is kind of crazy. Because I think you've seen that side of me. But I feel like I'm a gentler person than you, which is weird. Like, how have I not seen that?
Yeah, I've seen him like mad where he's just kind of like serious and like, we're like stomped off,
Mm-hmm.
Me, I guess I don't really get like snappy or snapped or like pissed where you just feel like, holy shit,
Yeah, I've never been like, ooh, don't talk to him.
I don't take anything serious.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I don't think you take shit that seriously.
Yeah.
Like if something happens, you're like, "It's rah."
Yeah,
like,
literally
says that phrase, and he's like, whatever. Like,
I think the most I've ever been upset is like usually with myself. Like I'm usually probably just pissed.
Something
like,
you've done.
Like, God damn it.
Oh, like when you lose shit 5,000 times a day.
Yeah, right now we just lost my phone for 10 seconds or for like
10 minutes.
10 minutes, and it was under Chris's pillow, under his blankets, and
under a pile of clothes too.
I sat there for 5 seconds, like it was deep in there.
Jaime loses everything, dude. I don't know how. I lose shit too, but I've gotten like a little better, I think. But yeah, it's like on a daily basis. Every time I'm with Jaime, he's like, "Wait, where'd I put this?" And I'm like, "No way, again." But okay, sorry. Back to the dad thing. This is probably the last thing about the dad thing. Mm-hmm. Do you think since your dad was always like kind of snappy like that, and that he might have laid a hand on you a time or two, do you think that's why? Because I feel like you used to be like really submissive, and you still have like a little bit of that like lingering with you. For example, like when we're in public, Jaime fucking hates like doing anything that'll like draw attention to him, or like is kind of like, I don't know, counterculture. Like he hates playing music loud, for one, if there's like anybody around. Mm-hmm. If there's any like adults around, he doesn't want to play music with like cussing in it. Like he's very timid to do things that'll make him like stand out or draw attention. Do you think it's because of that upbringing you got there?
I think I don't know, because I was thinking about that. I was like,
or you did talk about your mom, how your mom was always like,
yeah, I was thinking like just the living with other people. I've never felt like I was in like, this is my house, this is my room. I never felt that way. It's always been like, this is my room of someone else's room, like in someone else's house, and like I should be very like careful, tiptoey. I think I've maybe because of that, always kind of being fearful for a bit, like a little bit. My mom being like overly careful with me, and I was raised with all girls, so I was like just very like, think like poster boy for just being like shy, nervous, and scared, nervous poops all the time. And I think that like led to like when I went to school, like a lot of people would just not like step over me, but like they could just make any joke they want. Like what does it matter? I'm not gonna do anything.
I think I was that kid too.
And it's just kind of like growing up in that environment when then you're like that guy for so long, that when you get older, it's like harder and harder to be more like give more of yourself,
Yeah.
Because now you're just like, am I giving too much, or am I a bother and stuff like that? So I feel like that combination of just like, I feel like my dad would that would be like more just the beginning. Like he started it in a sense, kind of, because I was living in my own house, but I'm sure with that presence in mind, like I still felt like some sort of like kind of like caution, why you laughing?
I was just thinking about the dad fucking little number. I'm sorry. I have something to say, but it's totally off topic.
Go.
Okay, if you watched the last podcast, the high one, 420.
Here's a link.
If you haven't watched it, go fucking watch it, because you're not going to get any of these references. But I tried to tell this story on there, and I just couldn't tell the story because I was so lit. Like, I couldn't remember any of the details. I kept forgetting what story I was telling. And then at the end of the day, nobody got the story still. Like, I never even said it. The story I was trying to tell, for context here, if you made it that far in the pod. Me and Jaime were at our friend Brenda's goddaughter's baptism, like, party. And they had, like, a banda playing, or, banda playing. And, it was the whole thing. A lot of food. The taquiza, dude, that was banging. You unlimited
Here's
tacos.
Here's a picture, bro. They were stuffed, free, so and banging. Good. They had a raspado, man.
Yeah.
Or what is it?
Yeah.
Is that a raspado, man?
I think so. It's like the snow
cone. Made raspados and a whole bunch of other stuff, and like a bar. And it's like random ass shit where I'm like, how the fuck do you have this? Anyways.
It was a fucking party. And are you done? Look at me. You're done. But yeah, we're at this party, and it was like a bunch of my homies from Kohl's where I used to work, or our homies. I used to work there too, and we're all chilling at the table, right? And like me and Jaime's sense of humor, bro, just or just our jokes and shit, they just never stop. Like if you've been around us, it never stops. Like the whole time you're with us,
Just punchlines.
we're gonna be making fucking jokes back and forth the entire time. So much so that Isauda once famously said, "Did you ever shut the fuck up to Jaime?" But of course, so we're at this party, which is a perfect place to do it. So we're making all these jokes and we're like doing it with like our friends too. And like there was like a really good setup, I thought. It was like such a good setup for a fucking punchline, right? I don't remember what I said at this point, but I said something and I thought it was going to be like the best fucking joke ever. Our friend Marina, she'll be right here. She like
Brenda's friend?
She set me up. I said the punchline and she didn't even look at me. Like it did not land at all. She just like was so like not even entertained. And then the worst thing, whenever that happens, is like when your homie's looking at you, like
was I staring at you?
He witnessed everything, and Jaime was like, I looked over at Jaime, and I knew he was just gonna be like, and he was, and it was like such an embarrassing moment. And I don't even know where I was gonna go with that story, like last pod when I said it, but that's what the story was. So it's just for context
Just
there.
in case you're itching. I know you guys are sleepless at night. Sleepless in Seattle.
But I was watching it, I was like, bro, as a listener, I'd be like, what just happened? You know, like
Yeah, that's frustrating. I
literally,
remember like you like hyping up and then you just cut it and you're like, I don't even remember. And I was like, I don't even remember the topic. And I was like, like I was so
Yeah.
hyped for that at the moment, you know?
Yeah, I started explaining so much and just nothing came from it.
I don't know why this popped in my head, but we just, we recently watched, what's that girl's name? Something Pedretti.
Victoria Pedretti, she was Love in the show You.
She did an interview like a year ago, I think,
Mm-hmm.
for this like YouTube channel. I think the concept is to strip as you talk, and that kind of like represents like the layers you're kind of like unfolding into the camera and the audience. And I don't know why this popped in my head. We could probably end it soon with this or something. I don't know. How are you feeling? But I just wanted to talk about it just a little bit, just because Chris has known, like, I love that interview.
The interview, yeah.
And I remember the first time I watched it.
We'll have it linked in the description. Fuck it, so you can watch it if you want.
The first time I watched it, I cried. I cried for a while, and it wasn't even. I don't even think because of the interview. I just remember specifically. I just remember thinking like, I don't know how this connection happened. I think maybe because she was like such a touching soul, and then she talked about like her backstory of like she didn't get the attention that she wanted in a sense, but like I don't know, maybe something. But I was just like, damn, people are just so mean, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember like crying for so long because I was like, I tried to post. I had the Finsta I had, and like I remember trying to post like stories about it, and like it would not post, and I was getting so pissed because I was trying to like express myself, you
like
know?
Instagram stories.
Yeah, but the Instagram stories are shit because they only let you get like 40 seconds.
Oh yeah.
And then it's done. So
Yeah.
I remember just being like, it was just too much to handle, and then like it just like brought so much like it just thought, you know.
Yeah.
But I just showed it to Chris recently, and I like want to know what you thought about it.
I don't think I have anything like concrete that I took away from it. I'll be honest. I think we did it after the podcast. I'm so disappointed right now. Okay, we watched it after the podcast one day, so I think I was kind of like drained already because the podcast is like actually really draining. When we're done, we get really fucking tired. But I also remember I was like thinking about a lot of stuff while I was watching it, so I was kind of distracted a little bit. But I do remember like some of the key points. I think it was a lot like about her parents and the way that her parents were, and she never even realized like how detrimental their actions were to her until she was like way older, and how she wants to be herself more. Oh, I have a fucking really good topic after this, but I didn't take away as much as you did. Like I expected to want to cry too, but I don't think it was like that intense.
And
but maybe it was just so groundbreaking at the time because you watched it like a cool like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, probably a while. Huh?
So I think I've learned a lot since then that I probably didn't know then. When I'd be like, whoa, you know?
Yeah, I think that was probably like the beginning of like not the beginning, but like definitely probably just being someone so like. I don't know, like it's not even that. I don't even think the interview is that crazy, you know. Like I probably didn't deserve like a cry. I don't know, or I guess it did to me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember just being like, I don't know, just her presence was just so like great. Like it just was like the way she was able to communicate and like how she was able to say things and like the things she was saying was just like such a good soul, you know. And it just was like nice to see, and then like just like a celebrity too, and it It was just like it all worked out the timing wise. So I just wanted to like recommend that too. Like if you haven't seen it, it's nothing crazy, probably nothing you haven't heard before. But I remember just for me, I was just like, oh, this is nice, you know.
She's such a beautiful person. I think she's so cute too. Like by the way, she's just like one of the cutest humans I've ever seen. Victoria Pedretti.
It's crazy because I used to think that the other girl was way
Oh,
more
hotter.
attractive.
Beck. I hate you, bro. You always go for the fucking
The whiteies, the white blondes.
It's just like the Barbie dolls, you know. It's like,
But now,
of course you go for her, you know.
But now I'm like,
Yeah, you've been switching it up.
yeah, I haven't even said anyone. Honestly, a lot of the girls that I rave about, like that we have in secrecy, where I'm like, dude, this girl's gorgeous, because you know I throw that around every once in a while. Like every once in a while, I'm like Chris, you know, and all of them like in the last like a while. It's all been like very ethnic, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Which they used to just be all whiteys, you know?
I say that word. Can you just stop? I said it in accident and I want to say it again. You
know? It's funny because there's this one girl. I don't know if this is why you said this. I'll say it. There's this girl I went to high school with. You could bleep the name, but I'm going to say it.
Oh.
And I think we were talking with Issa one day. And we're talking about like potential like baby names if we ever have to have a kid, right? And Jaime said her name. He said, and I was like, really? And I think you brought up her. You're like, yeah, because she's so hot, or like she's just so like banging. I think you thought it was like a really banging name because of her. Was it because of her or no?
I don't know, but I right now, like thinking about it, I would never want to name like my kid after someone I thought was like smoking. You know? Like not because it's like a weird association. It's just like. I can't even think of baby names right now. Like, I wouldn't want to name it after someone, like, in that sense. Like, all I know is, like, Jaime the Third or just, like, a cool-ass name. Like, that's it. Like, that's all in my head when I think of, cool, like, names. You know, like, cool-sounding names. Like, I don't think, like, I think right now, like if I would have named my kid. We're going to bleep that.
Oh, fuck. Dude, that girl he just named, Jaime is like... Stop. Wow, I've never heard him talk about another girl as much as her. Anyways, okay, what thing I want to talk about, probably cut it after this, but this is going to sound super dramatic because it was just weed. But like when I was high on the podcast, I even said it on the podcast. I remember thinking of something and I said, it's just ego. Like that's the reason I'm like, oh, I think I told Issa and all you guys, I was like, I'm so insecure that people are going to see this.
Yeah, I don't want to post it.
And I was like, yeah, I don't even want to post it. And I was like, tell me why I should not feel that way. And then Issa was like, dude, you're so young. Like, this is like raw. This is so like funny and good. You're going to be so glad you did it. All that, which made me feel like really good. So thanks for that. And then I said like, it's all ego. Like, what the fuck? But in my head at the time, that made so much sense. Because I was like, I really just care so much about like how people perceive me. It's fucking insane. And I think like I've been on like a ever evolving journey of caring less and less about what people think of me. And I think that's part of what's like contributed to like my rise in confidence that I was just talking about like over this last like year or so. Because I just really stopped giving a shit, you know? Like some of the thumbnails I posted on my story, goddamn, losing our virginity in a foursome gangbang.
The Chris from 4 years ago?
Never.
I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Oh, like I was a bad person or what?
No, I'm just saying like I was like you'd probably be more hesitant to post
I'd be so
like
scared.
That.
I would never. Yeah. So like, it just hit me. I was like, wow, like it really took me to get blasted out of my mind on weed to realize like I really give way too much of a shit, you know?
I was thinking
and even on like, sorry, real quick.
You know, you're okay.
It's like on so many different types of scales, like from with very small, minute things that you only do because you want people to think that you're nice or like well behaved or like wholesome, you know? And then like there's some like really obvious things you might do, but it's like damn, there's so much, you know? And some are like healthy and like you should do that, but some is just like, what are you doing? You know, like why am I doing this? It's so extra, you know.
I was thinking that right now because I was taking a massive shit in Krista's bed. In Krista's
bed? You shit the bed, just like you always do.
And I was in his bathroom, but his mom was just right here, so like the bathroom's literally on the other side of this wall. And I was pooping, and I was thinking like. Oh, she's gonna smell it. God, Chris.
I'm sorry, I just farted. I don't know if the mics will pick that up.
No, it won't, hopefully.
That's
I remember thinking like, Pull hard.
I'm scared to hurt you.
Pull it.
Wow.
Pull him. I could feel him. Oh my god. Okay, maybe not actually.
Give it wet.
Can you do the thing? Okay, never mind. We're just gonna.
We're gonna cut that whole segment. Nah, I'm just kidding. Who cares? It's at the end.
And I just remember her, like thinking like, dude, your mom's gonna smell this, like it's so bad and all that stuff. And then I just remember being like, dude, I'm already shitting. Like I'm gonna shit. I'm gonna wipe. I'm gonna shower. I'm gonna see her. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I just that. But I'm just saying to like the smallest scale of just being like, what the fuck? Like, why am I gonna even think this for more than 10 seconds? You know?
I'm in a bathroom. Yeah. Have you ever used those? I don't know if you've ever even seen them because I just realized them very recently. Girls, like a lot of girls, will have those things in their bathroom. It's called like poo-pourri or something like that. But you put it in the bathroom before you shit, and it makes your shit like not smell once it hits the water.
Well, that's good.
I've never used it, but it's like it's a good concept, you know. Like especially if you're in a pinch, like fuck. I'm at my fucking girlfriend's mom's house, and the bathroom's right next to the dinner table. Like, you know?
Exactly. Maybe you could have that all around, huh? A little Ziploc bag inside your pants, like fake pee. It's like always ready. Just like plop it in there.
You just have like a little to-go bottle in your purse. Because you actually carry a purse.
Like, oh, sorry, what's in there?
A travel size one.
When you have nothing to resort, so you put hand soap in the toilet just to make it smell good.
Did you actually do that?
No.
Oh, I thought you were serious. Jaime said he did that right now when he's shy here, but
I'm just rubbing it in there.
But I've never used it. But I was at like a friend's house the other day, and I saw it in the bathroom, and I was like, huh. I didn't have to shit, but I was like, I'd probably try it. Look at the directions real quick, you know, see what's up. But yeah, real quick to end it. Do you want to pop this pimple on my back?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm glad it's at the end. I know, dude. Jiu-jitsu got me fucked up. I'm glad this is at the end because if you're grossed out by this, you probably have stopped watching already. But I'm going to narrate it, I think. Fuck. Do you see it? It's the one that...
You have to face it like this, though, so they can see.
But I don't even want them to see it. This is so gross.
My God. Which one? This
If
one?
you don't want to see this, stop watching. This is probably
I don't think it's gonna pop.
Okay, it's the one you tried to pop the other day. Is that the one?
I think it's done. This one though?
Is it? It's like under the skin, bro. It's so deep.
This one?
It's hella white.
Yeah, no, it's like bloated already. I think this looks good. Ready?
Fine.
Here we go. No remorse because I don't care. Oh my God! It just popped.
I felt that.
Wow.
Oh my God! I felt like a. You know when you pop like a fat pimple and you feel like it almost sounds like something. You feel it so hard. It's like.
I don't know what to wipe with this.
No way! You barely even squeeze it.
Oh no! It popped over.
What do you wipe it with?
I got a napkin.
It says it's a napkin. It doesn't sound like one. I know what it is. It's the Haichu wrapper. You bitch.
It's done. It's done.
Wait, but what about the other one?
It's done. Like that one, like it must have went out in the shower and washed off.
Is this the one? I think this is the one I was thinking of under my pointer finger.
Yeah, Chris, I'm not gonna try to pop that. You want to try to pop it? No, you want to try to pop it? No.
Okay, give it one.
You don't want to. You want me to pop it? Or
Give it one good go.
Try to make this as painful as possible.
Okay, guys.
All right, guys. Well, it's good seeing you. Thanks so much for 425 subs. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the views. Love you guys. See you guys next Friday. We're posting this Friday.
See ya. Peace.
Bye.